Chapter 19. Dance to the Music of Slime. It may surprise you to know that for someone who taught the piano, Madame Sloth could not actually play the piano herself, not a note. In fact, she hated the sound of a piano being played. As she did all musical instruments, the only sound she liked was the sound of silence. Silence meant Sloth could sleep in peace. As Ned and Slime flew over the island, Ned spotted the roof of Madame Sloth's grand old black and white house. It was easy to spot as she had a swimming pool, the shape of a piano in the garden, no doubt paid for by her ill-gotten gains. "There!" exclaimed the boy, and the pair swooped down to the ground beside the house. Looking through the window, surprise, surprise, they saw the piano teacher, if you could call her that, was fast asleep on a chaise longue, snoring away. Looking across the piano room, Ned and Slime could see the child Sloth was meant to be teaching. The poor thing had been made to stand on one leg on a piano stool whilst balancing a book of sheet music on her head. Presumably, this was some kind of punishment, no doubt for daring to stand up to the world's laziest piano teacher. The pigeon set Ned down and transformed back into a blob. The girl balancing on the stool looked as if she were about to expire. Her face had gone as red as a tomato and she was pouring with sweat. She must have been balancing there like a flamingo for nearly an hour. With a nod of his head, Ned signalled her that she should escape. "Are you sure?" the girl mimed. She was clearly terrified of the lady sprawled out on the chaise lounge. Ned nodded his head again. Tentatively, the girl put her other leg down and breathed a gigantic sigh of relief. "Thank you," she mouthed before tiptoeing out of the room. Slime slid under the boy's feet and inflated into a ball, so Ned was just the right height to slide in through Sloth's open window. The boy eased himself through, landing on a piano stool. The slime ball followed. At first it was too fat to fit through. Shunt, shunt, shunt. Then Slime made itself thin and poured itself through. Squelch. Shh, shushed Ned. "Let's not wake Sloth yet." How best to wake someone who loves silence? With the world's loudest noise, of course. "Slime," began the boy breathlessly. His idea was so good, he couldn't get it out quick enough. "Yes," replied Slime, now turning back into a blob in the piano room. "I need you to become the hugest orchestra in the world, and goody. And I want you to make the noisiest noise that ever..." Ned wasn't sure of the word, so guessed at one. "Noised." This was the perfect payback for Sloth's explosive bottom banger. And the word "noised," a word you will most definitely find in perhaps the most important book ever published, the Williams Dictionary. I'm going to have to get one. In an instant, the blob divided into 100 smaller blobs. These small blobs, smaller than globules, are called globettes. One by one, the globettes began to take shape. These globettes translimed into musical instruments faster than Ned could name them. A tuba, a French horn, a violin, a trumpet, a double bass, a harp, a set of cymbals, a xylophone, a bass drum, and last but not least, a giant gong. Madame Sloth was oblivious, still snoozing on her chaise lounge. "Now, orchestra," began Ned. "Gather round here. I will conduct." When all the pieces of the orchestra were in position, as close to the piano teacher as possible, Ned assumed the role of conductor. He picked up a banana from the fruit bowl on the coffee table to use as a baton. The boy had once seen a conductor on television, so had some sense of what to do. Ned tapped the banana on the table to get the attention of all the slimy instruments. Tap, tap, tap. Still Madame Sloth snored and trumped away. Her bottom bangers were so foul they could strip the wallpaper from the walls. All the instruments in the Slime Orchestra, or Slimekestra. I have to admit, some of these are better than others, but you will find them all in the Williams Dictionary. Where were we? All the instruments in the slime orchestra, or slimekestra, turned to the conductor. Ned nodded and twirled his banana through the air. Boom! The noisiest noise that ever noised exploded into the room. A shocked Sloth shot up off the chaise lounge with incredible speed. She smashed up through the ceiling of the piano room. Bang! Smashed through her plush bedroom above. Bang! Finally smashing through the roof of her house. Bang! Ah! Screamed Sloth as she sailed through the air. Ned looked up from the piano stool through the hole in the roof. The boy smiled to himself before remembering something he had learned, something important. Sir Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation. In short, what goes up must come down. Ah! Screamed Sloth again. Not that screaming did any good, but it seemed like the appropriate thing to do. The large lady was plummeting towards little Ned. If the boy didn't do something, and fast, he would be nothing more than human slime. Help! Screamed Ned. Now he was screaming too. The piano! Thinking fast, slime trans-slimed back into a blob and reached round the legs of Madame Sloth's grand piano with its blobby arms. He yanked the instrument under the hole in the roof, knocking Ned on his piano stool out of the way as it did so. Ah! Screamed Sloth before crash landing into her own grand piano. Clang, clong, cling, smash, bang, wallop. My piano! She cried from inside the mess of wood and keys and wire. Oh, I can't give any more piano lessons. You never did, retorted the boy. Ned, she screamed, I will get you for this. And with that, Sloth tried to lift herself from her piano. In all the kerfuffle, the gold carriage clock toppled off her mantelpiece. It clonked Sloth on the head. Boink! Ouch! She cried. Another job well done, remarked Ned. Always a pleasure, replied Slime, as it trans-slimed into a rocket. Hop on. The boy smiled and hauled himself up. Then the rocket blasted him through the hole in Sloth's ceiling, high into the sky above. Zoom! I got the zoomies! Howled the boy in delight. Chapter 20 is The Gruesome Twosome, and we'll read that one tomorrow.